Hey guys, welcome back to our review of the finale, the final 2 episodes in HBO Max's Dune Prophecy, the Sisterhood spin-off of the Denis Villeneuve universe on the streaming service. And so we've got to see episodes 5 and 6 now. That last episode being an extra length episode. And frankly, the last episode, best episode in my opinion, and I think it has to do with the extra length. So I feel like this is the length all of these HBO things need to be. Now, the conclusion is there. We have the answer to what was keeping us going. Who Desmond Hart is, and the mystery there. But as I was watching episode 5, let's rewind a little bit. I was watching episode 5. I said, you know what? 6 episodes. There is no fucking way that this series is going to conclude any of this satisfactory for me. There's just not enough time. This is before I knew there was an epic length episode. It helps a little bit, but I still feel it's a little short. And honestly, that's essentially what happens. The series ends. We get some of the answers. We don't get all of the answers. And I don't feel as a season ending it was satisfactory enough. I have problems with it. And I actually have a theory that HBO, because it has already been announced before episode 6 aired, like right before, an hour before, they renewed the series for season 2. I thought this was a one-off thing.
Me too.
They got me. I was like, oh man, it's going to be a complete story. It's going to be tightly told. That's not the case. It's as if, and here's my theory. I think that they have always said, let's do 12 episodes. So I'm going to do 6 up front, 6 later, and let us do 12 episodes, and then you can and HBO breaks it into season 1 and season 2. Because honestly, this feels like half a story. If they never knew that the series was going to be renewed, this is one of the worst, conclusions, and not very satisfactory. Now, I enjoy the series. I think I've been enjoying the series more than Alex and Joe. But even I have problems with how it ended. So I'd like to talk about some of the cool stuff and what I'm excited about and what I think they executed well. And then some of the stuff that kind of sucks that I think drags the series down. But before we get into that, let's see. What did you guys think of episodes 5 and 6?
I'm still not along for the ride. I honestly, it's a fine show, but I'm just not hooked. Mm-hmm. For me, I love the movies. It was great. I saw the old school one, very outlandish and stuff, but I'm not liking it. I don't care about these other characters except for Desmond. He's obviously cool. And the Sisterhood stuff, just the main stuff, not the acolytes. But I just think it's mid.
Yeah. I kind of got punched out at some period of time, and then now I feel like I'm being dragged through it rather than like a willing participant for it. And then so it's like stuff happens, and I know I know that some people are like, "Oh, I can't believe that happened." I'm just like, "Okay, that happened." Because it's not engaging me in any sort of way. I don't feel that the political maneuvering is anywhere near to the level of what I've come to expect on HBO. And the whole Desmond mystery box thing was interesting, and I like to see how that played out. So there's some really cool stuff that happened with it. But I agree with you that if this had been a standalone series, it's bad. It is a bad standalone series just based on it had no ending whatsoever. So I think it would have done better if they had told us, it's like, hey, this is 6 of 12. We're going to do season 2 for sure. And then I think my expectations would have been in a little bit better of a spot. Because I just kind of expected the story to be moving along at a quicker pace if we were potentially only going to get 6 episodes, even if they are long.
Yeah, okay. Well, so overall, mixed, at best from you guys. And it's kind of the same thing for me. I love Dune. I want to live in the Dune universe. I'm happy this exists. I'm happy that it got watched enough. I watched, as I saw, #1 TV series on HBO, and you know how they do the rankings 1 through 10. And I kept seeing it. I'm like, okay, well, that bodes well. And this could be one of those situations where, hey, it does get better. Hey, there's several TV series that have a bad first season or a season that doesn't live up to its potential. One of my favorite series of all time, Star Trek The Next Generation, didn't really have the best of starting seasons. However, if we're going to compare it to that, they had many, 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 many episodes to make up for it, right? Good ones, bad ones, and an overall meh kind of thing. When you're only getting 6 episodes, I hope that this is not a sign of things to come from HBO. If they start delving out 6-episode seasons, I'm going to be fuck right off. I don't want it. You know what I mean? Because I expect, and this is proof of why I don't want it. Because the story feels cut short. There's so many threads. It feels like a bait and fucking switch. And some people might be satisfied with the current ending right now if it ended in season 1, but I'm not. But there's so many cool concepts here. They're playing with Talaxus. They're playing with Ixians. They're playing with maybe failed Kwisatz Haderachs or precursor Kwisatz Haderach, precursor Sardaukar, the Shai Hulud concept. So I'm speaking a different language, right, for most people. So I'm a book fan, and I'm a lore fan, and even I am digging as best as I can to add more context to what's briefly shown. Alex mentioned that, yeah, but that was shown for 10 seconds, that's kind of things. And you kind of blow it up and you kind of, visualize it. I think, and if they had done a little better job there, then I think that this could be running on all cylinders. What I think is best is I just love the atmosphere. Like, you sit down and you're watching it, you really immerse yourself into it, pay attention to it, and I think I like the visuals almost more than the storytelling. I like the set designs. I like the world. We got the first time we've seen in the Dune universe, we've seen the space fold. So the Highliner space fold. We saw fighters. We saw space fighters and fleets in the air. And the series doesn't have a ton of battles. It's more political intrigue. Half of the political intrigue I'm enjoying and I think is effective. I think all the stuff with Haviko, the Emperor, and Valia and Tula, that's all good stuff. And the Sisterhood trying to maintain their power and spread the tentacles all throughout the galaxy. There's this AI stuff and then they have AI, but they don't want AI to win. People are scared of AI. That's cool. The rest of the stuff, this Sisterhood Civil War is not working. It's not compelling. This little Lily, it's like, shut the fuck up. I'm not interested in the Sisterhood falling apart. Only thing I'm interested in is when Valia and Tula, finally admit that they're both wolves. They come back and they just murder all these, what do you call them? Acolytes that are trying to overthrow it. Nobody gives a shit about Destura. What's her name? Exactly. What's her name?
Datura.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the problem is like they're acting like she had her mother or her grandmother was like, no, you're wrong. This is the way that we're going to run the. So Tula and Valia actually are following through with what the elders. She was the upstart. She's acting like, oh, it's like, no, you were splitting the faction.
Good point.
You are fucking wrong in the eyes of the Sisterhood.
But it all comes to, and it's not shown well enough. The Orange Christian Bible, like the prophets, the Butlerians, and the old ways, and wanting to do things without AI is what this faction is. But number one, you don't identify with that faction. We don't have enough context for that faction. Therefore, we don't care about that faction. And so many of the acolytes are on that faction. It turns out the one acolyte that I found annoying, I don't even know what her name is, but the one that didn't have the dream like everybody else is probably the only one that's going to side with the other, our main sisters.
The one that has crazy arm powers that goes...
Yeah, she cracked her thing. And anytime the series is delving into the Bene Gesserit's like powers, where they're using the voice or they're trying to control their individual molecules and cells to overcome this virus, it has now been revealed, and a bioweapon. That's what I enjoy. That's the bits that I like. and all the rest of the stuff is either poorly explained, not set up, or not compelling enough with the right characters that you care about to help facilitate your interest in it.
Yeah.
I feel like
Other than, of course, Valia and Tulad.
I feel like Harry in the bar wearing the cowboy hat, and this chick is just sitting next to me talking, and I might be here, and I don't care. Half the time it's on, and I struggled because half the time watching it, I'm like, no, put your phone down. No, put your phone. Don't pick it up. Don't pick it up.
I wanted to fast forward.
I was fully immersed in it, so that I think can color your views of
Well,
it. But I get about getting punched out because it happens to me in movies all the time.
No, because I was about to say,
if I'm punched out and you don't draw me back in, I'm gonna be like, nah.
Yeah, because I think some of the times you were punched out, but you were like, "Oh, look at these things in the background.
Yes,
this is so cool." It's like you're not focusing on the story; you're looking elsewhere.
If I didn't have that,
exactly, like, "Oh, that's that." But
yeah.
I don't have that content, so I was just like, "This is kind of."
I was enjoying it with other Dune fans. I was getting on forums. I was watching YouTube videos.
So you're building up
and
your
that
hype.
builds up. And now I understand. Well, you guys are fucking right. You know, when you come from an ecosystem like that, and then you're comparing ideas with other people, where it's like somebody farts, and then you're like, well, they're not taking it serious. I'm not going to take it serious. I don't really care. You know, and then obviously that's not what happened. But you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
It's just. You know, you guys are dissecting the farts while I'm just wanting to avoid smelling them. Is kind of, what was going on. Anyways, obviously I think the series does a lot better than some wet, pungent farts.
Yes.
Because,
it's not bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all.
It's not bad. And I'm glad you're saying it's not bad.
No, yeah, because it has potential. Because, I honestly, if we would have dropped a lot of the Acolyte stuff and focused on the main stuff, like we were saying, I would have been like 8-9 territory for me.
Nice.
I was like, oh, this is cool stuff, very compelling.
Yeah.
But like Alex was saying, it just gets dragged down with that, and I'm just like, not along for the ride.
Yeah, I think they also wanted to introduce too many characters in season 1. I think it would have been better if we had never seen the princess at all, and we'd referenced her and be like, hey, this princess is really important, but she's off world. Because every second she's on, I feel like we're wasting time. Yeah. And there's just storylines that just don't work. And they want to do this. Yeah. They want to do this HBO thing where, like, look how many storylines we can weave together. It's like, well, some of your weave is awful, and I don't want to see any of it. And what I'm tired of doing is just kind of like, again, sitting here watching and go, oh, I like this stuff. And then she comes on screen and is like, oh,
quite clearly, the princess, Yanez or whatever her name is supposed to be the key to the Sisterhood's plans of installing power, the Empress on the throne so they can control her. And she has her own subplots. And frankly, I don't know if it's the acting or the dialogue and the love interest and the Atreides boy. None of that shit is compelling. The moment Valia comes in and joins those two, I'm like, thank God. And then she has one of the coolest moments in the series, the final episode, where Valia, the Reverend Mother, just fucking unleashes her power.
Kill yourself, defend me. You kill yourself.
That was the coolest part, and she just never even slows her stride, because that's how powerful the Bene Gesserit are in the Dune universe. And to see that play out, it was a nice payoff. And especially when we're not getting big explosions, we're not getting huge action scenes. That was a huge payoff, perfectly played by the actress that plays Valia, and it was wonderful and awesome. And then they have a battle of their powers. She's already used the voice on him. She knows he's resistant. She's like, give me your best shot. He uses his powers on her, and then it turns into that biovirus, which feeds on fear. Now, initially, I was like, this is fucking stupid. I don't want an explanation for fear is the mind killer. I don't want it to be literally fear is the mind killer, because little nanobots will turn black in your bloodstream and you'll die.
I'm dead.
But over time, after the second week, I like it now. It could just be one aspect of the litany, and a supporting reason as to why. Lost over generations. Because another thing that's kind of weird is this is 10,000 years ago. That's not even... You think, oh, well, that's 100 generations. No! It's so much longer than that. And the fact that there's just not... there's not any advancement in the universe. I think 10,000 years ago is just too much.
It's too
If it
much.
was 100 grandpas, I can kind of see that, but I just don't like a lot of that kind of. And that fits in with the rest, that all these different ideas in Dune, Frank Herbert purposefully didn't flesh them out because that's not important. What's important was the overall story. But when you go in and when you make a franchise and you start making the building blocks, you'll see, this doesn't quite, hold up.
It's got the same problem that Solo did, where everything in the movie, everything cool that guy did that we know about him happened in a fucking long weekend. And it's like, bro, not everything in the Dune universe happened 10,000 years ago into this specific six weekend period of time.
Stuff like how big the houses are, the global jihad that happens when Paul Atreides at the end of the movies goes out and murders 80 billion people, or these numbers that are crazy, that are not matching up.
He didn't murder them.
He was responsible for it. But anyways, so I think that's the biggest problem. And so let's go ahead and make this. And here's what I'm saying. I still think that I would make this recommendation just barely on the line, because I think the visuals are cool enough. The lead performances from what I would consider the three leads, which are the two sisters and Desmond, those are fascinating enough that I would make the recommendation to go out and see it. And if you love Dune, then, get HBO and get it. Because now there's 2 seasons, and we're going to get some more context. However, don't do it yet, because if you haven't seen it, do it. But 2 years. It's probably going to take another 2 years, unless my theory is correct. And they were already working on the other series. They already have them all written out. Because if they already have them written,
might as well work on it.
If they have them already written, they might already be filming them, and this might be one of the shorter breaks in between. Because this series cannot handle a 2-year break. I don't give a fuck, right? A 1-year break I would be able to handle. Even better if it's less than that. But I think what they're going to do is it's going to end up coming around the time Messiah comes out. Messiah has a set-in-stone release date of December something 2026. So as long as they can get it out by then, it can still remain relevant and then go into Messiah perfectly the way HBO wants. All right. Anything else on the first impression? We'll do the episode breakdown, but anything else?
No.
All right. Let's go ahead and give it a final verdict. What I'd like for you to do is total up all the ratings, and we can, kind of give it an overall season 1 score. And what's fucked up is after episode, one of the ladies goes, "This is a perfect way to end the series." And I was like, no, it's fucking not, number 1. And number 2, I don't want to go to Arrakis, because I was having fun with all the visuals and filling out all these other places. Now we got to go to fucking Arrakis, It's like I'm done with Arrakis. Arrakis is a desert. It's desolate. These cool visuals is what I appreciate, the locations here. And she goes, series. The series ends. I'm like, that's not a series. You knew it was a season. It's a season ending. Yeah. If she thought that this was good enough for a series ending, fuck you. Sorry, go ahead.
I don't remember a majority of my scores that I gave it, but overall, I would give
Me
this.
neither. I had to look it up.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Don't worry about it.
I would probably give this a 6. A lot of it was bogged down by stuff we mentioned, but a lot of it was being carried by Desmond. I honestly think he was the best part of this.
Yes.
And the two sisters, great stuff. I wanted to learn more about that. A little disappointed about the fear thing. Like you said, maybe there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
I wanted to be
so that's
a
one
bigger
aspect.
impact.
What is your opinion on the big reveal
About what he was?
Desmond? Yeah.
I wanted some more magic.
Yeah.
It's like
something more.
It's something more mysterious. But it's fine. I still allow it, even though I see like we're both haters of this show, and this is complex story writing.
You
so
hate
goes,
it or you love it.
Yeah, it's complex.
No
it goes
room
over
for
my
being
head.
a little-
I only like action movies apparently.
And Bigfoot.
Yeah, and Bigfoot.
Don't be sour, Joe.
I'm
Just
not.
say, hey, we like it, but not as much as we want to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's a 6. It has a lot of potential, but I think majority of it's like you are going into your theories and going, this is good, this is good. But I don't. I just see it as what it is, and I've seen the other 2, like the movies, and just based on this, a lot of it was just I didn't really grab onto it. I just think it's like above average at best for me.
Yeah, I think it's above average at best, but I mean, there's part of me. I mean, I was thinking initially like 4 or 5. I think there's a ton of potential here, but I think it's unrealized potential. I like the Dune universe quite a bit. I'm not giving him a lot of points or any points for just flashes on the screen of member berries or things, because it's like I'm trying to look at what this show is doing, and I do agree that the set design is incredible. I love seeing the spaceships. I love seeing all these other things. But I think half of the focus of the TV show for me was wrong. I don't like the princess. I don't like Constantine. I don't like the young acolytes.
Don't like the Atreides Swordmaster.
I don't like the rebels. I don't like any of that stuff. And so it's like what I do like is what the core of the show is doing. But I honestly, if you only get half of the stuff right, and I'm bored a lot of the time while watching your show, and it's of an IP that I used to feel I love those books.
This is tough love.
So it's like I think that this series is average at best, and I personally would not recommend it to people. I would say this is something that in 2 years I think will age better when you've got access to more episodes, because I definitely feel like it doesn't end in a way that's satisfying.
No.
It doesn't end on a cliffhanger that I find interesting. We're stuck on a planet with Constantine in the air, which I don't give a fuck about Constantine, and he's there.
He's now the leader of the new fleet.
So Constantine is there. I hate him. The princess is there. I hate her. I don't like her.
Did you guys like
the Swordmaster is there? It's
roll your eyes at the Swordmaster and the princess going back to back with the swords?
Yes.
That scene was a lot stupider than when Valia showed it. Something as simple as Valia using the voice was way cool. And then I was like, not only is it filmed poorly, but the princess, like, she's poorly. She's going so slow. It just looks bad.
Yeah. And so I have a hard time giving it a whole lot of points. And like I said, there's a ton of potential here, and I know people are going to love it. I also just think that some people are looking at what it could be or referencing material that they love outside of this show. But looking at the show in a vacuum, I think it's average at best. So I'm going to go with a 5.
Yeah, and me personally, I don't do that. I do it, but I can keep it separate for the final assessment, and I have kept it separate with the potential. You'll see. So I went through and I looked at all 6 episode rankings. I'm going to tell them to you now, even though we'll do a breakdown. So I originally gave episode 1 a 7. I'm bringing it down to a 6. I feel like it was a weak start. It was just visuals. It was the idea. It was my excitement of delving into the Dune universe more. Yeah. Episode 2 was an 8. I said, hey, it's better than the first episode. Gets that interesting intrigue, good jump-off point. She tries to use the voice on Desmond. He resists, and it's like, who the fuck is this? This is really good. So that I gave an 8. I'm going to go down to a 7 because there was a lot of buffoonery before that, and the episode itself was a little mixed. Number 3, episode 3, I gave a 5. It's easily the worst in the whole series. It's a flashback that barely gives any context to stuff in the beginning. I had a problem with the placement, which completely ruined the pacing. If you wanted to put this at the beginning and focus more on the 2 sisters, less of the acolytes, then fine. But you were trying to put, equal emphasis on everybody, even though they don't deserve it and aren't as good actors. So that's going from a 5 to a 4. It's below average. The rest of my ratings stay the same. Episode 4, I thought at the time was, and we did a review on this, was the best episode yet. It was. That's an 8 out of 10. Now we go to episode 5. While I think there's good elements in episode 5, I gave it a 6 out of 10. I said it was slightly above average. And the final episode, I think, ended on a high note. It was held up and carried by the longer length, an hour and 20 minutes with plenty of context. It answered a lot of questions, kept a lot of it there. It had some good scenes, some good wrap-ups, and a few eye-rolling moments. I gave it an 8 out of 10. So when I take 6, 7, 4, 8, 6, and 8 and average them together, that is a 6.5. But we don't do half measures here.
But Joe,
be the man, do a right thing.
The last episode is a double episode, so you're doubling the score of the last episode to influence
episode by episode. No, I graded it on a curve, gave it an 8 for being longer. So it's like, do I go 7? Do I go 6? And my critic brain is telling me 6. Fan brain would probably go 7. But this is a show that I really like. And I know and can acknowledge has flaws and problems. There's bits that you're going to be invested in, and there's bits that just don't work quite as well as I think the directors and everybody thinks that it works. So it's slightly above average for a debut season 1, and it would have got more if there was more satisfying ending. If it didn't feel like there literally is another season of it, and if there isn't, everybody would be super pissed. So 6 out of 10, and hopefully once season 2 rolls around, it can get better. They can take the feedback. They can really, get on task with the feeling and improve the writing, improve the characters, maybe shed some characters. Here's the problem. I thought Mark Strong was a fantastic addition. Yes, he's playing a character that is not strong, and you traditionally don't see Mark Strong as. Yeah. But I like that subversion of expectations, that this is a man who's been controlled his whole life. He's fucking being manipulated by many people, walking over like a lost dog and stuff. And he played the role really well. You ain't gonna have Mark Strong in the series anymore. Okay, right? Yeah. And who are we going on? Who are we elevating? Well, we're elevating that Lilia acolyte chick, into some abomination leading the system. No. And then all the scenes on the fucking Secundus
but you have Yanez. She's gonna be the main
She's
character.
so good.
And she's gonna be the main character.
So essentially what we're moving in the direction of all the characters that I dislike, which is the Swordmaster, Yanez. There's a few bright spots. Desmond is still alive and in play. Tula and Valia got an upgrade. I like their character art. That was the most satisfying thing to me. It's almost like a 6 out of 10 just for them and Desmond. And the rest of it, that's that missing 4 points. If you could have cleaned this up and get that, then we would have been legendary area. But that's our opinion on, that's my opinion.
No, I agree.
We're all pretty close.
Yeah.
I mean, we all think that there's a lot of cool stuff here. It's like I think very slight variations on the stuff between the cool stuff.
Yeah. So now that they get a second season, what I'm hoping is that there's a figure behind Desmond Hart's operation. I don't think that is going to be compelling enough because I already know where it's going. Unless what?
Honored Matres.
That would be fucking awesome. But
you're
not going to get any of that. That is like 6 books away. Okay, we're over here. Alex is talking about almost the end of the timeline. Unless. So basically, this would have to end. Dune Messiah, Denis Villeneuve does Messiah, and then they decide, okay, well, Denis doesn't want to do any more movies. Now let's do another TV series on God, Emperor, the Worm, or the Honored Matres. Those are the 2 exciting for the far, 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 far future when we're in an old folks' home and they finally decide to milk that last bit out of the Dune.
Or they can fast track and do what Alex just said. Keep you enticed. Bring him in. Bring him in
right now. That's not going to happen because the way they plan stuff out. And go in sequential order. Anyways, let's go real quickly into the episode breakdown. So episode 5 in Blood Truth.
Now, more than ever, we need to defend our values with ferocity and pride.
This opens, we see the fighters. I love seeing the fighters, but they're actually flying in very peculiar AI type formations. I don't know if that is a deficiency of the special effects group where it doesn't look like they're human pilots, they're AI pilots. That wouldn't be a thing. Javico makes Desmond his Bashar, and he creates the proto Sadukar, and they're dressed in black instead of white like it is in the movie, and he basically is put in charge of that. Meanwhile, Haro, who is the now defuncto leader of House Harkonnen, and no, I will not call it anything other than Harkonnen. He's sucking up to Desmond. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry for challenging," and he's like, "Hey, Valia made me do it." He's like, "Yeah, your aunt sucks," and this and that. And he's like, he gives him a piece of information. He says that, "Oh, it's the rebels," and he plants a seed. It is once again a Valia seed. However, I was confused because at the very end, this Desmond Hart, we didn't know who Desmond Hart was yet, gives him a ball, and it's an AI ball, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why does this guy want to kill everybody that uses AIs and machines and thinking machines, and he's over here having the technology?
Only for
hypocrite?
me. Only for me, not for you.
Could have been that direction. And Haro later uses this in episode 6, so it does have a payoff that I think Haro is doing his own power plays now.
Yeah.
He's got basically all the camera. So what was the ball?
Camera.
Yeah.
It's a ring camera.
Ring camera. Yeah. Recorded all of the sisters' conversations, the face dancer, the play on the Emperor, and all this stuff. So he has a smoking gun right now. So either Valia is going to need to kill this guy, or he's going to need to be on Valia's side, because if he goes against Valia and takes it to the queen, they're fucked. Like, I don't ever see how the Sisterhood would have the power that they do by the time we see the movies, because everybody be like, stay the fuck away from us.
Do you not buy that the Sisterhood is not all powerful as of right now, even in the show? I mean, not at the very end episode when things gonna happen.
I think that they're a powerful, elite, small force, and not the galactic spanning, and they have a few houses.
Yeah, I mean, but like they had someone like with the Emperor, they were about to have the new Empress. Like, they were already in. I always felt like in this episode, they're like, oh, we're not in its power. It's like, you are the most powerful house.
Well, yeah, I think that was because you're right. They were the most powerful house. Then they got kicked out. And so that's what they're referring to the loss of power right there.
Yeah, but I felt like, well, they're like, we don't have enough power. It's like, you're the Ultimo power. What do you mean you don't have enough power? Like, I never bought that. They're like, we don't have enough.
Not all of them.
Even without, yeah, I get what you're saying. Even without the Emperor under their control, which ultimately that's the Super Bowl. So, well, yeah, they're still powerful because they have other houses, but they want to control the Emperor.
Well, I mean, they imprinted on the Emperor, and they imprinted on the Emperor, the new Empress coming up. So it's like I felt like they already won.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they needed to ensure they won because Desmond would have ruined all of their plans. So, anyways, Haro reports to Valia, so it was kind of Valia's, plan there, and then we get Lilia scenes. Now, in order to sort of advance the plot and discover what this goddamn fake old lady makeup was talking about all those years ago, I was okay with this, where she turns into, the old lady, and people think she's Lilia until they realize, she's not. Yeah. She's researching. She's the researcher. But to then do it again in the next episode with the mean lady who, was Valia's rival that she killed, yeah, it's intriguing character-wise. It's good drama and stuff, but I don't care. I care that she transferred into the old lady because the old lady was going to tell us what the fuck is all this stuff. You're the one that prophesized this, and she never says who he is. This prophet, maybe she doesn't know details specifically because it's like, okay, now that you're alive, can you clarify the fucking prophecy that you fucking said to everybody before you died? Oh, no. She doesn't even bother. But anyways, Francesca tells so then we have this Bene Gesserit show up that imprinted on the Emperor.
Yeah, Francesca.
And what is she here to do?
She thought she was there. She was there for Constantine, really. Like, she'd been summoned by Constantine. And so, I mean, she's just there because she's the Ultimo power with the Emperor. She can tell him to do anything.
His past love, and he does it.
Yeah. And so a very, very short leash, and she...
And I think it was alluded, I'm here because, my son called me or something. But the son didn't actually call her.
Yeah.
Somebody, said that the son called her, so it's all deceptions like they would. But yeah, so basically implants the idea that the Emperor should give his son power over the fleets.
Yeah.
Give him the job to do.
Yeah, it just puts another pawn. I mean, because like Constantine's not exactly loyal to the Sisterhood, but he's loyal to his mother, and then that's
yeah. And it seems like he's loyal to his sister. She says some line that I didn't really understand. It was like, I had Constantine to protect Yanez or something like that.
So like Constantine kind of betrayed Yanez in the last section where he goes to the Landsrod, and then he's supposed to be like, hey, you're a dick, and instead he's like, I'm here to support you, and turned around and ran away. Right. And so like they're
maybe Yanez can then use that moment of leverage against him when she needs his help in the future, and they could get some drama from that. But again, those are those parts that in season 1 we thought were weak, and this didn't have the impact that they needed. So eventually Lilia tells us that it is a virus, an RNA thing. It killed Kasha, Avilius, and all these other ones, and the little boy, and it feeds on your fear. And I still don't understand, is it in everyone's blood? Is it just people that are in close proximity to him? Is he releasing it through his eyeball? What is happening?
I mean,
this is bullshit.
They haven't explained it. I mean, he also starts doing parcel tongue at the end to activate it in Valius. It's like we don't know if it's like we don't know how any of this stuff actually works yet.
That frustrates me.
Mystery.
Here in episode 5, we get the pieces of it, and I thought in episode 6 it would fully explain it. It doesn't. It only half explains it, and that's why this is a half a series with half a rating out of 10. Anyways, with a small bump up to 6 because I like the universe. Finally, Desmond sends all of his troops to the club to blow it up or whatever. I'm like, thank God, blow this fucking place up.
Yeah, I hate this place so much.
People just having sex and doing stupid shit, and it's the cheapest set of them all. And they're all planting all these bombs. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And then they blow it up. It's just dumb. It's dumb. And Desmond activates his shields right before, so he is still alive.
Should have been laser traps.
And I'm like, the fucking walls caved in on him. The shields don't stop.
I was thinking about that, but I was like, nah, I don't care. He survived cool.
He survived.
I like him.
I like him,
keep him alive. If it was anybody else, I'd be like, no, he should have been fucking dead.
Yeah, if he had died, I mean, it's like, oof.
Yeah. I was like, I don't even want to see the rest of this.
Yeah, because then you have the club owner lady, the bartender lady. She's getting uppity with fucking Valia, and Valia's not used to being talked like this. She's like, are you being betrayed by the Sisterhood? They're gonna wipe your mind. She's like, don't fuck with me. I'm going to Arrakis.
I kind of want to.
And now we know they're going to Arrakis, so they're gonna probably bring this one in again.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Please, I don't want her back. It's just another. All of the characters that I don't like are surviving and moving on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the Swordmaster's like, I never want to see you again. And
if I ever see you again,
guess what
I'll
happens?
kill you.
He's gonna see him again.
Oh no!
Oh damn it!
So Yanez interrogates the Swordmaster Atreides, whatever his name is, Karen, something like that. Karen, I want to see your manager. I want to see your Harkonnen manager. He's like,
She does a little trick.
Yeah, to see if he's telling the truth. And she realizes that he's still good.
He loves me.
Yeah,
I was just going to kill all of these people.
But then I said no because I love you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I
hate
forgive
this.
you.
There's no chemistry.
Yes.
I'm not invested in these characters. I want them to be crushed by, I don't know, falling rocks.
Yeah, I
don't buy it.
Is this for shipping purposes? Like, what the fuck is this for?
It's supposed to be for the female demographic.
I mean, they could have done the exact same thing, but like, hey, I don't know how we're going to get out of here. And we're like, well, we could cut him down. And then like, there's a reason to have him along other than love.
Yeah. And then finally, the AI computer says, "Hey, this blood that you entered into my machine, it's actually a combination of Atreides and Harkonnen blood." And I'm like, "Oh shit, we're doing another Kwisatz Haderach." It's like
it's
an
your son,
early
Tululu.
version, and it was revealed that Tululu, it's Tula, that it's her son, and I was like, "Huh." Came from left field. Didn't see that one coming. I hated it at first because I wanted him to be, I don't know, just like a new thing. But now that I've had 2 weeks to mull it over, I like it. It's a proto Kwisatz Haderach, and they want to tie it into the character so that there could be drama and you can mine that stuff. And Travis Fimmel does a great job in episode 6 when they meet, like showing how much he fucking hates his mom but loves his mom at the same time. I'm like, damn, that was an effective scene. So that kind of I bought it at that point. I was still iffy on that explanation, but I like it. However, they do not explain, at least in this episode, more bits. I'll be like, well, how does he have this? And who's the red eye or who's the blue eyes and this and that? But that's where basically it ends. And he's like, yeah, my mom left me to scavengers and the Sisterhood. I fucking hate them. And then the queen kisses. So the queen's doing some bullshit. She fucking messing
She
around.
doesn't care. She already knows.
Her husband's screwing around too, so she's just trying to.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So she's making a play now. She's like, I'm going
She
against
wanted
my
to ride
husband.
Shah Halud.
I want. she wanted to ride the Shah. Yep. Travis Fimmel. Okay, episode 6. So what did I give that one? A 6 out of 10. What would
5.
y'all give it? Okay, 5.
Yeah, probably a 5.
Okay. Final episode 6. And this was, like I said, it was never going to wrap up satisfyingly, but there was extra length. I liked the explanations. Mark Strong, all the stuff with him was cool, where it's like he's been led around his whole life, and he's just cornered. And there's this great scene where Valia's sitting in the Emperor's chair, and she's just telling him how pathetic
You're
he
a
is.
patsy and pathetic, and yeah.
That's good stuff. And then he goes into
Arrest her.
he retreats to his chamber, and then he's talking with Francesca, and he realizes that Francesca's on Valia's side.
It was not my plan.
And she's feeling conflicted too, but he's like, fuck it, so you're supposed to kill me, right? My whole life everybody's controlled me. I might as well do one thing that I fucking do. Choose my he kills himself. It's like the last thing that he has. Doesn't quite make sense.
It's like
but I get what he's doing, and I
It's
like
still
it
part
on
of the
paper.
plan, Mark. But
But you didn't have to
it's
do
a
it,
different
Mark.
route. But
He's gonna
same-
die anyway.
Yeah.
Francesca's gonna kill him. Somebody's
Somebody
gonna
else
kill him.
was.
His whole life is a lie. He sucks. I can at least commit suicide my way, not the way that
The
you
most
was gonna.
slow, painful way possible versus the super quick, immediate,
Yeah, just
painless
give me the
one.
poison. I'll do it myself. Fuck
Yeah.
that shit.
He was an emotional wreck by that point.
Yeah, I mean, he still has a brain though, right?
Yeah. And it sucks because Mark Strong is gone, and no one cares about the Sisterhood Civil War with the little girl leading the faithful rebel.
I hate them.
Yeah, so that whole part of the episode I didn't really like too much. Basically, she wakes up again as a different lady, and the other girl lets her restraints out, and she stabs the other girl. I was like, oh, cool, we're getting our first acolyte death. No, it's a friendly stab, and she, I guess, gets paralyzed for half a second.
Sedative.
Yeah,
She
she
gets
got sedative.
passed
Oh,
out.
that's what it was, a little needle.
She gets a nice nap.
And then she goes and talks to the other ladies who are already looking up all of her readings, and are like, oh, these sisters are lying to us. And she walks in there and is like, what are y'all doing? And then they think it's Lilia, but it's not. It's, what's her name? Dorothea, something like that.
Dorothea, I think, yeah.
Dorothea. And then she reveals to the sisters that the bodies of all the... And then it does the flashback. And I like the flashback where it's like...
Choose.
These 3 sisters, a younger version of Francesca, a younger version of Tula, a younger version of Valia, and a younger version of
Kwan.
the one that died at the beginning. Forget her name.
Kwan.
Yeah. Yes, Kwan. And they hatched this plan that we've seen the whole time, that the princess will be their vassal. They'll control the thing. So this is how their plan is playing, and everything must go towards the plan. And it's cool, man. That's the original version. That's the Bene Gesserit. That's that kind of way. And I don't like these other sisters. Like, what's the point? Like, I don't get it. It's like this is an order that is dedicated to improving themselves and all this other stuff. And this little faction splinter group wants to I don't know, do less cool shit. They want to get rid of all the AI they want the gene program they want destroyed. AIs they want destroyed. They want to do things the right way.
Yeah, I mean, Dorothea in the original Dorothea was like, that you want to play God, and she's like, yeah, that's exactly what the Sisterhood is for.
That's what we're doing.
Dumbass, have you not been to any of our meetings? We play God literally in every system that we're in, and so it's like I don't view them as like a civil war. It's like no, this group feels wrong as far as like the Sisterhood goes. Like, you all feel like assholes. And I wanted at least a couple of them to be like, no, we play God. That's what we do. That's what we're here for.
Like, what the fuck you think we've been doing this whole time?
Yeah, for generations now.
It doesn't make sense that within this group there's this rebellious attitude. It's like the whole thing is to knock that shit out of you.
Well, none of them at this point, other than Dorothea, technically know about the AI yet, right? Until the next scene. Right. And so the fact that if they were uneasy about it, and then they see the AI go, oh fuck no, that thing's evil.
Right. That would have been more effective.
I buy
See, the way a simple change in the way you do it gives more context to the characters, and you're like, while I don't give a shit about you, I at least understand why you're making that decision.
Yeah, I mean, especially since we spend so much time like, hey, maybe we don't recruit these people because they're not all about sisterhood above all. Yeah. I mean, we spent a long time. The lady was standing in the rain for 40 minutes.
And everybody passed the test except for Valia, and she wouldn't let go. I do like how it's like sisterhood above all. And then when it came to her sister, she said, sisters above all. I like that little bit. Because she's like, you did come with me back to the Sisterhood, and so you're having the baby. Instead of her wanting to kill the baby, she's like, I'll help you with the baby and everything. But Tula is also right, knowing that her sister is half a monster, and her sister eventually is going to control her own baby, and she's like, fuck that.
She was going to give birth to a nuke, and like the second her sister was like, oh, you're going to give birth to someone with incredible power, she's like, oh no.
So it all makes sense, and that's why I think I accepted the whole Desmond being the son of Tula, because it's interesting to mine. Yeah. And it made sense that she would send him away and this and that, and then it's cool. So eventually, I guess, now I don't know what the fuck. Did he actually get swallowed by a fucking sandworm? I guess, because there was
video footage of it.
There's video footage, so I guess he just so happened to be.
AI can alter video.
And there was maybe this hooded figure. Okay, so the final reveal, we get more information about Desmond Hart, and it is that he's in this dream. Or it's when Valia is trying to overcome a previous sister. Tried to overcome it and failed because she was like fighting it, and the more you fight it, the more powerful it gets, and the more fear you have, and it dies. So Tula's like, okay, I learned that lesson. I have to go and appeal to my son. Luckily, she did that because she ends up in the same spot as Valia when these two confront each other, and she is able to impart some of the knowledge to Valia to overcome it by mastering her fear. And so it goes straight into her past and trauma in the trauma world. And again, I like it. It's dumb, but I like it. It makes sense. Character motivations and arcs and stuff. And so she stands tall. She has no fear. And then she's able to see clearly the image. And it's not two eyes, you fucking cowards. It's not the God Emperor, the worm that I wanted so bad. It's not even Paul Atreides. It's not Lilia, who was born twice too. None of that shit is a robot. And I'm like, we should have known that. Everybody should have known that. I saw one comment that was like, it's obviously, what was it? It's obviously this and that. I'm like, no, it's not. I mean, you hear the whole time. Did you want it to go boop beep beep beep? Because it's not a human
Definitely
being.
A robot.
I was always like, this has got to be an AI. It's got to be either, the Omni whatever guy that controls all the AIs in the past. Clearly, they're using the Sisterhood of Dune and Brian Herbert's tie-in for a reason. And it even says, based on Sisterhood of Dune. So the Butlerian Jihad, the way that Brian envisioned it, is going to factor in. So that's why I think that ultimately the person who put him in that chair and modified his eyes, by the way, that was gross. I don't even know. is that really behind my eye a big old tentacle?
It's
Yes.
stock, yeah.
I'm like, God damn, is it that long
I
too?
don't know.
That's some fucked up shit.
I don't know. Maybe you could stretch it longer.
Just putting in all this shit. And so now I get and Joe mentioned it. He's like, is it me or his eyes look robotic? Or something like that. And so I was
He's
like,
squinting like a pirate a lot because that's what his character.
yeah, or there would be a reflection in his eye, and it totally makes sense, and it's cool. So that's how he activates it, and I guess maybe the eye can also release the nanobots, but we've never seen that part. But he activates the fear response or whatever that kills the person. But at the very last minute, you see a hooded figure. Has to be
Very
a
blurry.
humanoid. I guess it could be a robot
Could be
humanoid.
anything at this point.
Or a
and
giant sand trout in a robe, and he's really far away.
And it's multiple sand trouts on top of each other.
Yeah, in trench coat.
In the figure of a human. Well, it looked like it was on Arrakis. So that's the reason why they're going. Not only was he converted on Arrakis, so they're thinking, okay, the real master is on Arrakis. Fine. There's theories on it that it could be this rogue AI that broke away, not Omnius, but this other AI. And there's good material there that says he hid on Arrakis since it's the most important planet. And that's what it is. If it's not an AI that is linked to the Butlerian jihad and the machines that fought humans a long time ago, then it's just not going to be impactful. Nobody's going to care. It was George!
Who?
Yeah, I don't know. Veneus. It was George Veneus this whole time. No, they're not going to do that. So it's either the whole faction of the Ixians, which are, they don't want the Sisterhood to become powerful because they want to be powerful because they're the faction that uses technology, and the sisters use their training and bodies, and, so you have those. Anyways, so that's what I think it is. And then what else? We get the scene where they show up. The princess rescues her swordmaster,
Yes.
Mom catches her.
but Valia shows up. Here's the part. Please explain this to me, because I think the show just literally fucks up. Why does the face dancer show up as Yanez? And it's like, oh, okay. And she's like, she's going to replace you while you're gone. And I'm like, okay, cool. So Yanez will act like Yanez. The face dancer will act like Yanez. But then in the very next scene, they drop that idea, and the face dancer changes to just a random soldier so she can attack. I'm like, what happened?
There's buying time. I mean,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'll buy you. She could have bought time as a princess. I'm the princess. Stop. Listen to my orders or whatever. It's like, get out of the
she's
way.
the empress at that point because they think
It
that
didn't
the
make
emperor's
sense.
dead.
It didn't make sense for her to face dance into some random guy to get one shot off, and she stabs Desmond Hart. Doesn't kill him, but wounds him.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're both still
don't get it.
alive because he said go.
Right.
Yes.
That's why, because it's written that way.
Yeah.
That's why. So that,
him up.
she'll be in prison, and then in season 2, she'll put her skin back to the princess, and then escape, and then be a princess.
But she's captured already, right? And they know that there's a...
But if she can escape and then face dance back into the princess, we can have
Now without
the
one
original
leg,
storyline.
if you catch a face dancer, you cut their leg off because
Right.
you're not face dancing back into 2 legs.
Damn, somebody should hire you. You should work for House Carino.
Yeah. It's like, it's me, the princess. Nuh-uh. I see you, Stumpy. We know it's you.
It's like, why are you always sitting down?
Yeah.
worry
Reveal
about that.
yourself.
Don't worry about that. So then they break out, and she says, I'll buy you some time. And I thought she was going to use the princess, but instead she falls on the ground, and she's a dead soldier. And when Desmond comes close...
It did buy some time. It's like they're watching her change. It's like, it's changing.
That's
Look
gross.
at it. And they're running away.
Yeah, but doesn't he say, go after them? And it's only Desmond
Afterwards,
that's staying
it's like-
behind.
No, Desmond says
No.
put her up in the
Yeah,
thing,
it's like,
and then he
oh,
leaves.
it's changing. Gross. Put her up.
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
That bought him 5 seconds. So meanwhile, because it only bought them 5 seconds, the soldiers catch up to
Yeah.
them. Another door opens. Soldiers come from that direction, and then we have the sword master. Oh, their training paid off. Their love training, and they are in sync.
Hated
And
it.
Alex broke
Hated
his
it.
neck. rolling his eyes so hard that his whole head
Because
rolled
there's
back.
cool stuff. Like there is such cool stuff here, and then they
Yeah.
have scenes like this, and it's like I hate you people.
Yeah, because the
brother.
cool scene he's talking about was when Desmond does confront Valia, and Valia's like, "I'll handle this," and she just walks straight.
Yeah,
into it.
that's cool.
She's like, "Kill yourself,
Defend me.
defend me," and she
Kill him.
That's so good. Kill him, and he uses his combat prowess, and it's just 1-on-1, and then he uses. Yeah,
Maybe
so
that's how he does
do
it. He
this.
like spits on you with the nanobites.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe, because there's no other explanation for his. And he blows it in your face,
Yeah.
and it activates.
There
But
you
no,
go.
for some reason, it's already in their blood. So they're going to need to explain this. Is this a plot from the AI that put that released a virus but was never able to activate it? And it just needs somebody to come by and activate it. Because that's wild. That's like too much.
That
inside
ends
everyone?
all of humanity.
Yeah,
Because I
it's
mean, if you have
everyone.
if you have the power to activate it at will, then
So you have to show it transferring at some point in season 2, where it would
yeah,
just be
just little scenes of him like sprinkling it on people's heads and stuff when they're not looking.
He's
and it's
like the
just-
Sandman where he's asleep.
yeah.
Actually, Joe's explanation is the best, because maybe it comes from the eye. It would look stupid to come out of the eye as dust, so maybe it just whatever. Because when he talks to you, yeah.
Oh,
Likes
he's
to
one of
get-
the spitty talkers.
Yeah.
So
he
they're
likes to get
trying to do.
super
I
close.
think they're trying to do this rival voice thing. Okay, because she used the voice on him, didn't work. He used this on her, didn't work. That's his voice, his power, and so I think that lends precedence to like stuff coming out. Anyways, Valia is so badass. She's gangster. That scene was so fucking gangster.
Yeah, and then so Tula shows up, and they're both pretty much out for it. Like they're both defeated. Desmond is dying of his wound, and it takes a lot out of him to activate the thing. Volley's on the ground, pretty much dying of, the
fear.
The fear.
That she needs to let go of.
Yeah, and then the sister's like, "Hey, I learned this in the previous scene. You got to like not fight it and get rid of your fears. Fear is the mind killer."
Yeah.
And then you think these two are about to, shit was about to go down. But I like what happens.
Yeah, she realizes she's a monster, and she's like, "Oh, you think I'm a monster?" And she's like, "Bitch," and she's like, "You're
We
right."
both are.
I'm a monster too.
Yeah.
We're both wolves.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I sent my son away, because, yeah, I knew you would manipulate him, but I think he deserves somebody better than us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love that. Love that part. And then we have the scene where Valia goes with them. Is that why she
Yeah,
leaves?
she
So she
leaves.
leaves with the Swordmaster
Then
and
they
Yanez to
go-
go to Arrakis, while Tula says, "I'll stay behind," or something.
She gets arrested, yeah, because she
Okay.
stays with him because they
Then
do
we
the
have
awkward.
that scene where they hug. Another fantastic scene. This stuff is like at 9 out of 10 for me. Good. Like the rest of this should have been at that level. That like
agree.
nice little 10, 20-minute section there was great. And then he arrests her, so she will be on. She's still going to be there. There's going to be some stuff there. And that sets up season 2. So I am interested. The mystery is gone with the blue eyes. It's AI, but it's like what AI or who is behind it.
Yeah, season 2 is going to be tough because we don't have the mystery box anymore. I mean, we know what Desmond kind of is.
Yeah, no
but-
mystery box.
And we have, in my opinion,
Worst character.
so half the show is still going to be like the Emperor is dead, Francesca is dead, the Empress is now in charge. She's going to be looking for her daughter, who she knows is a traitor, and so there's going to be this interesting dynamic of her and Desmond. I think that's the good storyline. And then the other storyline, I think I'm going to fucking despise because I don't give a shit about Atreides. I don't care about the bartender. I don't care about Constantine or the
Yanez.
princess. And then
I care a little bit about Constantine because now he's in control of a fleet, and I want something to result in that.
yeah, I just don't think they're going to do flea battles or anything. you know.
Shut up! Shut your mouth! How dare you
lot of
speak
money,
that?
Alex.
Hey, how dare you speak that? There
There's a
will be.
lower budget.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, so
I get it. So yeah, the best theory I found was like the heavy spoilers came up with is like, who is this? Maybe it's this robot called Erasmus. It's a kind of an AI general that's separated from the Overmind. The Overmind being all the machines that were fighting in the Butlerian Jihad, and I think he's different from Omnius. And he made a bet with Omnius at one point, these two AIs, that he can make the humans rebel against each other and stuff like that. But he's separated. He's kind of a rogue. Like, you don't know what he's doing. So that, to me, would be fascinating. That's where people went and dived into the books and Brian's books. And maybe that could how they tie in Brian and Frank's stuff all together and smash them all into one. So far, I like the way that's being handled because I actually like what Brian has brought to the table. And while he didn't make not every single one of his books are good, there are some good ideas there. And taking those good ideas and putting them in the series, hopefully will result in something satisfying in the end. So my guess is season 2 will be 6 episodes. What's your guess?
8.
8 episodes?
No, I'm going to go back with 6. 6, and then we have to wait 2 full years.
Yep.
So
they debut it before
late
Messiah.
late August in 2026.
Mm-hmm. I was also hoping that Desmond was a Gola. And that's because we see, I think it's a Gola, or is it a face dancer that's in Messiah? Because they want to introduce elements that are going to be in the 3rd film, right?
Yeah.
So Gola, he could be a Gola because remember, let's say the worm does swallow him. Maybe this hooded figure took some of his DNA and created a clone of him. So he really did die in the worm thing. But now his body reconstructed and then modified with the eye thing, and he's a Gola. So that's still a possibility. Or the eye thing, the sandworm thing never happened, and it's just a fucking robot programming to make him believe in this and make him do shit.
Or it's a robot sandworm.
Yeah. But again, why hate on technology if technology was the one that built you and created you? And I get it that you're brainwashed, but what is the goal of the hooded figure? To destroy the Sisterhood.
Yeah.
And the Sisterhood has... Alex fixed that earlier where it's like the Sisterhood has the AI and it will be revealed these motherfuckers are using the AI.
Well, so it's like those are the 2 locations that we have where people are dying of heat rash, right? Mm-hmm. And so there's an AI in the place where all of the girls are dying, and there's an AI in the place where everyone, the Landsrat's dying. Mm-hmm. So it's like that is, to me, is the only leak because I don't think that Desmond is no across space and time to make all these.
Sweet.
Yeah,
that's what I wanted.
Okay,
tinfoil hat.
Yes.
I have a theory on who the hooded figure is, and then we'll finish out this review. Let's hear, who do you think the hooded figure is?
I have no idea. I couldn't even guess.
Duncan,
I want
Idaho.
you to guess, Joe.
See, I don't know.
Based upon all the characters that have been in there so far, and factions that have been in there so far. Alex, what do you think?
Duncan, Idaho.
Shut the fuck up.
He's been cloned so many times. At one time, they cloned him in the past.
Nice. Okay. And Joe?
I don't know.
Just throw something out there dumb like he did.
Dumb, how dare you? No, I mean,
trout.
Oh, the trout. Yeah,
It's a bunch of trout.
It's 7
Joe,
trout
right?
in a trench
face
coat.
morphers.
Face more.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
bad.
Face dancers.
That's not a bad guess.
Those are the
They've been held down for too long. They
Telexu.
want to rebel.
The Telexu. No, that's a good guess. My guess is that I'm taking the theory that Heavy Spoilers had, but I'm modifying it. So you know the idea that Erasmus or whatever, I think it's the AI computer that the fucking sisters have. Because there's a sneaky line they drop. She goes, she says something about even all minds will eventually break out on their own at one point.
Yeah.
And she says that about the AI machine. I was like, what the fuck? Why would she say all minds eventually break out on their own or something like that? So I think that the AI has either been co-opted by Erasmus and they have a name for their machine. I forget what it is. It's some A name. It's like, or is it Erasmus?
It's not Erasmus.
It's arachnophobia, we'll call it, whatever. And so I think that it's maybe that.
It could be that. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. I mean, also there's an outside chance it just could be the Fremen for simplicity's sake, because general audiences are familiar with it. The problem with Erasmus is not a single fucking person who only watched.
They didn't even introduce it.
Yeah.
No, they name drop Omnius, but that has nothing to do with it.
And even if you name drop something obscure, people are like, well, who the fuck is that? And you have to spend a lot of time. But like the Fremen, are people that they're like, hey, there could have been a Fremen that's trying to destabilize the Empire who subjugated their whole world.
Yeah.
And he finds some AI and he figures some stuff out. And that is easier to explain versus, some really obscure thing.
Yeah, that's it. So we've explained it to you. We kind of know how season 2 is going to go. We're going to have worse characters. Hopefully the writers that they hire will be a little better. And we're not saying these characters are impossible to get us on board, but you're going to need to up your game.
2,
the bartender?
hard.
Bartender
Be hard.
The princess? I think the princess is harder to get me on board than the bartender.
Yeah, because at least the bartender has like she's a Fremen and a
she's
sister.
got eyes, cool eyes.
Yeah, I don't like the princess and I don't like Constantine.
Right. And the mystery is half gone. So now the mystery is, who is the person in the cloaked figure and how does Desmond release his power? All right. Oh, I also really like the moment that Tula. So how did they get the voice? They soft confirmed its origin. It's when you you're a Bene Gesserit and you've been controlling and doing all these other things and preparing your body and transforming into something else. When your willpower reaches a certain level where you're just like, stop! And so Tula actually gets Valia to stop right before she kills her son. And she can now use the voice. Now, that's a cool theory, but it's kind of broken when in the past
they all use the voice.
They all use it to be like, choose. But we won't talk about that, Alex.
Because it's like, how the fuck does Francesca have the voice? Quan has the voice too? Fuck off.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done that. You could have just had Valia doing it to everybody. But anyways, that's how I'm going to interpret it. Thank you guys so much for watching. And what do you think? Did you watch it? What do you think about this season? And what do you think is going to happen in season 2? Who do you think the hooded figure is? And leave your comments down below. And we'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show. Bye, guys.